Hey, hey, hey. What's up, Cotties? Okay. Welcome to Keeping Up with the Curtain. Why are you rolling your eyes at me already? We've just started.
I know. It's amazing.
It might be a record.
It's amazing how quickly you just...
just turned you all against me. Welcome to Keeping Up with the Kardashians. This is Nick.
This is Rob.
This is Joe.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this podcast where we talk pop culture world, including comics, movies, TV shows, games, toys, and so much more.
Men.
Yes.
We do talk a lot of men.
Including Jason Momoa.
Chris Evans.
Ryan Gosling. Ryan Reynolds.
Paul Rudd, who for some reason Joe thinks he's on the same level as.
I think we're all on the same level as Paul. Well,
no.
I don't think we're all on the same level as Paul Rudd. I just think that Paul Rudd's...
Achievable?
No, I think what Paul Rudd has done just elevates all of us. He elevates the every-looking man.
Yeah. Well, I think to me...
I don't think anybody can be Paul Rudd.
I think the mystique of Paul Rudd increases every year he doesn't change. I think that's the big issue, right? Paul Rudd on Friends Days, you're like, he's all right. Paul Rudd now, you're like, bro, like this is 30 years later and you're still the same. So anyways, we talk about those things.
Speaking of Jake Gyllenhaal, though.
What?
Nobody spoke of Jake Gyllenhaal.
No one spoke of Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, Ryan Gosling. Sorry.
Wait.
My gosh.
Can we add Jake Gyllenhaal, though?
No. Actually,
on.
did you know he's in MMA now?
No.
Yeah.
I like Jake Gyllenhaal.
So, Ryan Gosling, right? We debated on this show who was more attractive, Chris Evans or whatever his name is.
Ryan Gosling.
That's him. And I did an Instagram poll. Ryan Gosling got his ass kicked by Chris Evans. So it was like 23% voted for him.
Jake Gyllenhaal, MMA fighter now.
No, he's doing a. He's
doing a movie.
He's doing a movie.
He's getting spritzed, man.
No, he's doing a movie where he's an MMA fighter.
I thought he was actually doing it.
No, I mean he looks like an MMA fighter.
He sure does.
But he's doing a film.
Oh,
because I saw that the other day. He's 100% doing a film.
Okay, got you.
But he's ripped for that movie. Like
okay.
He looks like a legitimate UFC fighter. And I don't trust the general public with things of this nature.
Butt kicked.
I don't care.
I don't care.
It's personal preference.
And just because we prefer...
And you guys have terrible taste.
No.
Just kidding.
You did.
Ryan Gosling is adorable, first of all. And I never said he was better than Chris Evans.
You prefer...
Yeah.
No. I had to put that on Instagram just to see what happened. I would never mention if Chris Evans lost.
Oh, I know. Of course you wouldn't.
No. So anyways, we got a little sidetracked by men as usual.
Ooh.
But as you know, this podcast focuses on those things we talked about earlier, the pop culture things. But right now we're currently reviewing Battlestar Galactica. We're in season 2. And today we got 2 episodes to review with you today. We got Epiphanies and Black Market. So those are the 2 episodes we'll review with you. And we review those in the second half of the show.
Good. I watched the right ones.
Yes, you did.
Yay.
Now, just so you know, we started off as a primarily Star Trek podcast, and there still is good Star Trek going on in Star Trek Picard. We're going to release a review of that. We release that on Saturdays on YouTube. So if you ever want to see a YouTube review of Picard, check out YouTube.
Yeah, go to our YouTube.
We're the only ones doing it.
Yes.
Well, yeah. So we got reviews on that on Saturdays. I mean, though we do want to talk a little bit about Picard and Star Trek in general today, because there was some Star Trek news that happened in this past week. First and foremost, they have officially announced a new Star Trek series. Is it a continuation of Picard? Is it a series with Chekhov in command of the USS Saratoga?
Just stop.
No, it's none of those things. It's Starfleet Academy.
A series they've been trying to make since the 90s.
Yeah, this was supposed to
Or
be...
a movie.
When they released Enterprise, it was supposed to be the Enterprise series. So this goes back to like 2000 that they wanted to do this.
Tell us the details, Nick.
Well, there's not many details except for they said that this is the first time they're offering cadets a chance to join Starfleet in a century, which implies that we are in the 32nd century, which implies we're in the Star Trek Discovery timeline.
But we don't know that it's in the timeline. We just have deducted that it's the 32nd
Well, the
century.
reason why we think it's in the timeline is part of the plot of Discovery was that the Federation fell apart. They ran out of dilithium. There was no way for them to travel between star systems, so everything became more isolated again.
Mm-hmm.
Countries the planets became more militaristic and protected their own. So Earth left Starfleet and they created the United Earth Defense Force or whatever. So there was no Starfleet anymore. So and then part of Discovery was reuniting Starfleet by giving them dilithium and making it happen again. So the thought was that Earth would rejoin the Federation, the planet Vulcan, which was no longer called Vulcan. It was something.
Yeah, I think of the Romulans.
Because the Romulans and the Vulcans merged again. So that's why the thought is it's 32nd century.
Is this Star Trek The Last Jedi?
My gosh, it kind of is. The Star Trek Discovery
I don't get the
was.
reference.
Well, the last
Luke was the last Jedi, right? He was the last one.
Well, no, he wasn't. It turned out that it was Rey who was the last Jedi.
It was believed that he was the last one of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And he was the only hope of saving and propelling the Jedi forward.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to. He wanted to let it
He
just
wanted
die.
to let it die because he thought it wasn't worth it anymore. Which is stupid because there's
but
still
then
the
comes
Sith
Rey.
out there.
But then comes Rey. Rey, A New Hope.
You know what doesn't make sense about this? Luke Skywalker was the guy. Sorry, this is happening. Luke Skywalker was the guy who would not give up on his father, who committed genocide, who murdered a whole temple of younglings and children, murdered people for.
Anakin, not Luke.
Yes, murdered people for 20 years. And Luke is like, I can save this man, and wouldn't turn to the dark side. He has the Emperor right on top of him trying to change him, and he doesn't. He fights it. Like, this is who Luke is. He never goes evil. He believes in good. He believes good will always win. And then we find out, he almost killed his nephew because his nephew had bad dreams. And not only that, he thinks all Jedi should die because it sucks. And it's like, bro, that doesn't fix the problem because there's still the Sith out there. You go away, there's no one to fight the Sith.
No, he's letting the free market decide.
It's stupid. It's stupid. They ruined Luke Skywalker.
He was ruined long before. He was fine.
No, he wasn't. When was he ruined?
I don't know. I'm just being an asshole.
Oh, okay. You are being. Yeah.
I mean,
they ruined Luke in that was my. And then the rise of Skywalker. Oh, my name is Rey Skywalker. You can't just take someone's last name. I can't just all of a sudden decide I want to be Hosking because I like you.
I'll have you.
What if you identify as a Hosking?
No, it doesn't work that way, bro. Now, what if at the end of that, instead of being Jedi and Sith, she got rid of that and they all just became Skywalkers because they realized that Jedi was evil and Sith are evil, so let's just be gray. So now we're calling ourselves Skywalkers. We're not.
So she would be Ray Gray?
Tea, Earl Grey, hot. No, she would just be Rey, who is a Skywalker, which is like a Jedi.
So your solution for the Star Wars franchise moving forward is to call for the end of the Jedi and the end of the Sith and build something new?
Yes. And lean into the gray. Because that was the problem. The Jedi were too like, oh, you can't have feelings, you can't be in love, you can't do this. And they got wrapped up in the rules, which is why the Sith destroyed them. And the Sith, well, they're kind of a-holes. So, so they're not going to succeed either. So, like, maybe it's a little bit of both. Maybe it's okay to embrace love and embrace emotion, but maybe it's not okay.
It's not. Never.
Anyways, don't even. I was going to say don't even get me started, but I've been started on this.
So Star Trek Academy.
So Starfleet Academy, 32nd century.
Go ahead.
The only reason why I feel hopeful about this is the last couple of Star Trek series that have been released have been knocking out of the park.
Really? Which ones?
Picard, season 3.
One
Strange
out of
New
3.
Worlds.
So 33% of Picard.
Well, the show writers who are going to be responsible for the new season. That's Thunder.
Is it?
Yeah. We're getting bad
So
storms.
the show
We're going to lose power.
So the showrunners for season 3 of Picard.
Yeah, are going to be involved.
Okay.
Are they?
I thought.
Are you
wrong.
breaking news?
Am I wrong?
Alex Kurtzman's the showrunner.
No! Discovery Kurtzman?
Alex Kurtzman and Naga Landau.
No!
Yeah, so fact check, bud.
Nick breaking fake news right on this podcast.
I have alternative facts.
Can you give Alex Kurtzman diabetes?
I don't know him well enough to give him diabetes.
So let's rewind.
Okay. So I don't have a lot of faith in this anymore. Kurtzman, though, wasn't he? Is he involved in Strange New World at all?
Well, he's the executive producer.
So he's not really involved in it.
No, he's just kind of the overseer for the franchise right now.
I mean, Discovery is.
He's responsible for Discovery. He took Brian Fuller's idea, perverted it, and made it Discovery.
So
yeah, because Brian Fuller was the original showrunner,
yeah,
right?
he was originally supposed to be the lead, I think.
And then they kicked him out. It was like he left because it was so dysfunctional.
Creative differences.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got some questions for you guys
Yeah.
regarding this. 2 questions. 1, do you think this is the right time for this particular show?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's clear when they lean into stuff like this, people don't want it. People want a ship-oriented show, I think,
But we have Strange New Worlds.
But I don't anticipate Strange New Worlds going any more than 2 or 3 seasons. I really don't.
I can't see it going. It's already been renewed for 3.
So there you go.
Yeah.
3 seasons. I think
Well, I
that'll
know,
be
but-
it.
6 seasons in a movie.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, so my second question is, what can they do with Star Trek Starfleet Academy that would get you on board?
Here's the thing. In the description they released online.
Kelly Kapowski.
Kelly Kapowski, yes.
No.
If it was Saved by the Red Alert, I'd be in. But with the description, it just feels like it's going to be not Star Trek again.
Yeah.
They mentioned it like the drama and the camaraderie, but also the friction, and it's just I don't need a show where it's going to be catty. I don't need what I got the impression of Starfleet Academy from Star Trek 2009, which Alex Kurtzman wrote.
Okay, so then they're going to make this show. What could they do? What would you do, or what can the showrunners do?
So we
to
know
make
it's
it- to
happening,
make it-
but
First
how
of
can
all,
we make it better?
Different showrunners. I would make it in the. Honestly, I would come back to the 25th century.
I would go to 25th century, too.
I think that there's material there. Plus, I think they're missing a huge thing to make their Star Trek universe by having, because everybody's there. You have so much potential. It wasn't O'Brien a teacher at the Academy? I mean, you have so much potential to use all these legacy characters and just use them when you can.
You could.
You're missing huge opportunity to do new and sucker old people in with that. You could bridge that gap. If you really want a continuous universe like a Marvel, you can do that subtly and once a year. You could talk about the Enterprise. You could do things.
Keep in mind, you are the individual who hates when they just bring in characters for bringing in characters.
No, I have
you
a-
complained about that in Strange
but
New
O'Brien
Worlds.
is a teacher there.
I have a question.
You
then.
complained about that with Kirk on Strange New
I
Worlds.
still don't like it. Plus, the actor was not good.
Could they? And this is me speaking out of Star Trek ignorance. Could they potentially do some sort of like hollow suite or holodeck classes or something within the academy to have legacy characters be teachers, or
And they
have
could-
something like that, and still bring the character back, but still stay in the 32nd century?
They could, but that's exactly I wouldn't like that because
That speaks to what he was saying.
yeah, I don't like that because why? Other than James T. Kirk and maybe Picard, there's no reason to have Worf teach a class. There's been other characters that have been more important probably to the Federation than a Worf or a Jadzia Dax or whoever it is. Kirk, you can make that argument for. Picard, you can make that argument for. But I don't think any other characters other than Spock you can make that argument for.
Okay.
Mm,
So
I think that if you made it in the 25th century, you could probably do that because you could have scenario-based things. This is the Dominion War. This is what happened during the Dominion War. This is why you're learning tactics.
But you don't think you could do that in the 32nd century and study history and go through?
You could have a history class. That'd be okay. But if you're studying tactics, that'd probably do something a little more up to date. Because I don't know in the 32nd century if they have all the files from the Federation back in the.
We still study American history from the 1700s.
Well, I said history class would be cool. I mean, if you want to do a history class, sure, but
But we don't in okay, so think about it this way. 32nd century, so we're now in the year 3100. You're talking about studying history from 700 years ago.
We still study world history.
Yeah,
And
but
there's still lessons to be learned from ancient Rome and
We do,
and
but
the Renaissance, and there's plenty of.
you're right. But we don't really spend a lot of time on it. We have historians. You have people who go to school for it.
I mean,
But if I were to ask my kids 700 years ago who are currently in school in history classes, they'd be like,
but the Starfleet Academy isn't like elementary school.
true.
This would be people who are going there specifically. So
PhDs.
if you're going to college specifically for history or specifically for like a political degree or something of that nature, you are going to study these classes, and you probably would take very specific Roman history classes or very specific historical classes on sections of world history.
yeah.
So I could see them doing something from 25th century.
You hear that?
25th century history, or
Yep, that was some loud thunder.
I wonder if that showed up on
the
my.
history of the Dominion War, or things.
Well, yeah, because we
things of
study
that,
wars.
Like that.
There's
Yeah.
points to that, but one thing Picard did, other than 2 episodes ago, did really well. The fan service worked. I think the episode two ago, the bounty,
Yeah.
was too much, and I think if they did, I don't know. I don't have faith that this writing staff has the ability to do that.
That was my next thing. Is that being said, everything that we just discussed is probably leaps and bounds better than whatever they're going to
Yes.
whatever they're going to produce.
I just Discovery, for all it tried to do, it just didn't work to me. And they're doubling down on the sex
Story wise,
story wise, absolutely,
Yeah.
story wise, and there were good things in it, but they kept on undoing any goodwill they made.
and that's what you need. You need the story. You need the
Yeah, and now they're doubling down to something that failed in the first place, or that didn't work in the first place.
we think they're doubling
Potentially.
I mean, the writing is starting to be on the wall with showrunners and people involved. With that show.
In all fairness, maybe the new season of Discovery is going to be good, but up to what I watched, I stopped about halfway through last year.
Do you think the new season of Discovery is going to do something to maybe
Set it up?
wet your whistle for this
Oh yeah,
new?
I think that if it's a 30-second show,
absolutely. Yeah,
they will do it.
I think they're probably going to almost try to make it act like a spin-off, if you will,
Yeah,
in a way. Like they're going to tease it by
Okay.
the end of it, and
but I don't know if I don't know how much I love. There's a past show. There's what I call the current show for the 25th century, and then we're gonna have another future show again. I don't know if I like it. I'll be open minded. I'll watch the first episode, but they got to.
You'll watch most of them.
No, I won't, because I gave up on Discovery. I tried.
You really did?
Yeah.
You gave up on Discovery?
I stopped watching halfway.
Is that the only Trek you've ever given up on?
Yeah. Well, I think Enterprise I gave up on for like a year, and then I went back to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just couldn't do it anymore. It was like regret watching.
I think once you start watching watching Discovery in a different light, like no expectations, makes it okay. Like now I go, like honestly, like I go in
It's just
knowing.
a funny way to say it. I'm going to go in this relationship. I don't want any expectations. And she didn't disappoint.
Well, like you think about it, now that we've seen Strange New Worlds and Picard, we know Trek is. We know they still know how to do it right. We know that. But when you were watching Discovery and it was only Discovery, you're like, this is all we're going to get forever on Trek. And it was kind of depressing and sad knowing that.
Because Picard and Strange New Worlds was out, and Lower Decks. All
not,
at the same
not in the first season.
Not in the first season.
Not in the first two.
But I gave up halfway
first-
through last season where I'm like, I just can't do it anymore.
Well, but I'm telling you, like, if you change your expectations, maybe you could.
So I should go into it knowing it's going to suck and be okay with
No,
it.
that's an expectation. Just go into it and being like, look, whatever happens, happens.
Last year I tried that, and it still stunk.
You are a bitch.
I tried to open my mind. It's like, you know what? Maybe I'm the problem.
It's the first.
And then I watched
first
it.
bitch of the week.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I watched it and said, nope, I think I'm right.
Mm-hmm. Well. Anyways, no more Star Trek.
Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks and Prodigy all got renewed, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. But I mean, no more Star Trek talk here. We got our Star Trek out of the way because we have more stuff we want to talk about. And that is...
AIDS.
I saw John Wick 4.
Oh,
Oh.
what did you want to talk
Which
about?
way- which
what were
way-
you setting? I don't want to talk about AIDS.
He was just coming up with something.
It's my go-to topic.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, nice.
so here's a thing about AIDS actually. So I was watching TV the other day.
AIDS. Everybody has AIDS.
I was watching YouTube or whatever, and there's an advertisement for
The daily HIV drug
the HIV drug, right?
or biweekly
And
or
I'm watching
whatever
the
it is.
video, and I'm like, and Leslie's sitting there, and I'm like, I don't really like this video because it's implying it's only gay men who have AIDS, because they were showing a lot of gay men and transgender men, and she's like, do you know what that medicine is for? And I said, no, and she's like, it's for the butthole. And I'm like, oh, that's why they're talking
Oh,
about
my
it a lot.
Lord.
So that was kind of
But everybody has a butthole.
I know, but never mind. Never mind.
You know
Oh,
you know who that disease primarily affected, right?
Gay men.
Okay.
Yes.
You,
But-
are you starting to put two and two together now?
No,
or-
I know, but I like in the 80s we specifically villainized just gay men over AIDS, and we basically thought only they could get AIDS. But now we know
Until
that's
Magic
not
Johnson. And then we were like, oh,
No, that didn't help.
that didn't help our case. And now we realize anyone can get AIDS, but the rate of the most likely transmission source is through anal sex. So that's why the drug would be advertised.
wow.
Primarily gay men. I was educated by my wife, and I appreciated it.
You know, you can have anal sex with a woman.
I know you
know that, right?
I know you can,
They
but
call it butt stuff.
this was uncomfortable for me.
I bet it's
Think
uncomfortable for
about
them.
the woman.
So there's
No,
our
some
AIDS
people
conversation.
enjoy it.
There's our AIDS conversation.
Yeah,
You've never complained.
I never will.
John Wick 4.
John Wick 4.
I heard it's a masterpiece.
I would not go that far.
Oh, wow.
I wouldn't so you go into it and you've heard that it's the best action movie ever made.
I heard
and the
stuff like
best,
that.
And the best John Wick of the four, and it is not,
Okay. In your opinion.
in my opinion. Well, yeah, this is what we're soliciting my opinion on the show. I'm gonna
We're
talk
not
about John
soliciting
Wick
your
4.
opinion. You're giving us
You're
your
giving
opinion.
Okay, I'll stop.
No,
I'm
you can
soliciting
give
it.
it. No, give.
So now you're soliciting it.
Rob, what's your opinion
now
on
I
John
am.
Wick 4? I'm soliciting your opinion on John Wick 4, Rob.
It is not a masterpiece. It is
What?
good. It is good, but it's not a masterpiece, and it's not the best action movie ever made.
Give it a rating.
I would give it a 7.5, 7, somewhere in there.
So it's already made 161 million.
It's a very entertaining movie. And by the way, if you don't know, the other John Wick movies have been relatively short-ish.
Mm-hmm.
This one is not.
Of course it's not.
169 minutes.
I expected
100 and how many?
69.
I expected like a 2-hour movie, so I'm like, cool. I had to go to the bathroom halfway through, and I misjudged it so badly. But it's super long, and you don't notice the length unless you have to go pee.
That's what she said.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought the action in 3 was better than the action in 4, and so I wouldn't. It was very good. I sound like I'm dogging it, but I'm not. It was good, but it was not a masterpiece. I will give them props for how they ended it, though, which I cannot tell you guys.
I will say-
as a spoiler.
Looking at this, each movie is about 20 minutes longer than the last movie.
Yeah, the first
How
one-
long
the
was
first
John
one
Wick
was
4?
tight.
Or 3? How long was John Wick 3?
100 and wait, what did I say? 169 minutes for the one. John Wick 3. Okay, so the first one was 101 minutes. Let me
I
start.
remember
there.
Perfect.
That was great.
John Wick 2 was it was 122 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
John Wick 3 was 131 minutes.
Was it? I don't remember it being that long.
Okay.
And then the last one was 116. So basically, 20 minutes more
On
for the
average,
second
yeah.
one, 10 minutes more for the third one, 30 minutes more for the fourth one.
Yeah, so 20, yeah, okay.
So on average, each one is 20 minutes longer than the last.
Another question. Are we living in the age of hyperbole? Where everything
What
is the
does hyperbole
I was going to say,
mean?
elaborate on your meaning.
meaning you sort of your opinion of it is inflated unjustly, basically. Like some saying, "Oh, this is the greatest movie of all. This is the greatest action movie of all time," when it's really not. But you just want to inflate. You're inflating its.
I think there
You're
is.
trying to get
you're
people to hear you.
prematurely inflating its legacy.
I think you're right. I think that, that people jump pretty quickly. And I think it's either, I don't know if it's because of clickbait or whatever it is, or maybe new is best type of approach.
We saw this with Spider-Man too. It's the greatest action movie or the greatest
Comic
book movie of all time.
And you're
And,
like, it's
you know,
all
6
right.
months out, it's like, all right, we're gonna scale that back a little bit.
Yeah.
But as soon as something's released, it's like, oh, this is the best ever. This is the best action movie of all time, or the greatest musical, or La La Land. Oh my, like nobody's ever done a musical before.
Right. And we all know the best musical is Newsies. But John Wick 3, I thought had better action, all things considered. This thing had great pieces, but I think the action is more entertaining in 3.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, I mean,
But I mean, I feel like we're living in the age of hyperbole.
I think you're
just
right.
because we need to. The hype machine is so, because everything, right? We are living in the age of hype as well, because everything is hype. As soon as it's released, it's consumed and it's gone.
yeah.
Where's John Wick 4 gonna be in 8 years, 10 years?
I don't know. It depends on what Keanu Reeves is doing because people love Keanu Reeves.
I do too, but I mean, I just mean in the pantheon of action movies, is it going to be?
Is it going to be on the same level as Die Hard or
What's that guy's name that did the Batman list last week?
Oh crap! I forgot his name on purpose.
When he writes
he's dead
writes
to
his
us. We don't remember his
yeah.
name.
Nick gave him diabetes.
when he writes his top 15 action movies of all time in 2033, where's John Wick 4 going to be?
It's not going to be on the list. There's going to be like weird things you've never heard of on the list.
I'm just saying. I
And Charlie's Angels. You pick which one.
I'm going to go to
none.
I'm going to go to Rolling Stone's list of the top 5. Here we go. Mad Max Fury Road is number 1. Die Hard is number 2. Mad Max Fury Road is amazing.
It's a very
It's very
entertaining
good.
movie.
John Wick is 3.
Which
4
one?
John Wick
Okay. And
First.
Die Hard was 2.
2. The Raid Redemption is 4, and Enter the Dragon is 5.
Enter the Dragon, so good.
But
It is. It really is.
what's the shoot? I got to think of the movie.
I
Crap.
should show my kid that. He would hate it, but I should show him it anyways.
He might like it.
Maybe. The Matrix is 6, by the way.
The Matrix was revolutionary.
But The
Yeah.
Matrix, it was more sci-fi than action to me.
It was all action,
It
dude.
was all, yeah.
They have Black Panthers 9 though, and Aliens is 10. Raiders of the Lost Ark. So there's a little bit of bleeding between.
There's no
genres here.
Schwarzenegger in there.
Born Identity is 12.
Where's the first Schwarzenegger movie?
Well, Dark Knight is 14. Let me see. Schwarzenegger. Terminator 2 is 16.
What?
Mission Impossible Fallout is 18.
Fallout was so good. I don't know.
Ooh, Snowpiercer. That's a good one.
Snowpiercer is a good one. And what's the one that kind of revolutionized action? It came from Korea, I think.
Is it Enter the Dragon, right?
No, it's more recent than that. I can't think of the damn name of it.
That
Crouching
was the,
Tiger,
I
Hidden-
thought that was The Raid.
The Raid.
Yeah, that
Oh, okay.
was
I
up
never
there.
saw
that.
that.
That was like 3 on the list.
I
Kill Bill was 23. Kill Bill 1
think
and 2.
Kill Bill's overrated.
I don't think it is. I think the second one is overrated, but the first one is solid. Yeah, The Empire Strikes Back at 27.
We should.
An action movie?
No, that's not an action movie. Edge of Tomorrow 28.
That's good. That's a good movie.
Uh,
we should bring back the Mount Rushmore and do our top 5 action movies.
Total Recall is 32. It's not
Total Recall on all the
Nailed
Arnold
it.
Schwarzenegger. Yeah.
Randall Quaid. Right, that was his name.
Where's
Randall
True
Quaid.
Lies? True Lies is a good action
Not on the list. Predator's 37.
Is The Rock on the list?
No.
If The Rock is not on the list, it's not a valid
Wonder
list.
Woman is 43. That was a good movie.
It was a very.
movie. Is there a Rock movie on the list?
No. Speed is
Good.
44. The Fugitive. I wouldn't say The Fugitive is action, would you?
It is
No,
not an action movie.
no.
The Rock at 47.
At least it's on the list.
Top 50? It's a...
The Man from U.N.C.L.E. is 50 on that list.
That 90s action was fun.
Mhm.
What about Bad Boys? Is Bad Boys on the list? Because
No.
that was a great movie.
It's a good action movie.
It's a great action movie.
It's not.
Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer in that 90s and 80s era was just lights out.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
It ended with Con Air, I think.
Where's Top Gun?
it wasn't on the list.
That's a bullshit list.
Is it an action movie in the way they're thinking it? So is there
They're not thinking.
fisticuffs? And
Yeah,
things
they're thinking of it differently.
and
right?
gunplay.
But if they're
Like,
thinking
pop,
of
pop,
that,
pop,
then
pop,
Empire
pop.
Strikes Back does not belong on that
Yeah.
list.
Well, there's
As far
what
as
are the,
action
what are the
mo-
guns they call?
As
Ray
far
guns.
as far as
Blasters.
action movies go, Top Gun's a better action movie than Empire Strikes Back.
If you're talking about action,
Yeah.
Yes. If you're talking about overall story, no.
No,
sir.
I beg to
Empire
di-
Strikes Back is one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah, Top Gun would like to have a word with you.
Yeah, and it's going to lose when it tries to have a word at me. I'm going to give it diabetes.
How many volleyball scenes are in Empire Strikes Back?
Not enough, but that doesn't
How
make
much?
it.
How much incest is in Empire Strikes Back?
Wait, there's incest in Top Gun?
No,
but there
there's
is
more in. There's some in Empire Strikes Back.
Wow, Nick.
No, they just kiss. It's okay.
That's a non-zero amount.
What were they thinking when they did that? He knew that Darth Vader was going to be the father of them both, and he still had them kiss.
I think it says a lot about George Lucas.
To be fair,
Yeah.
she was stone cold.
Jesus
back in the
Christ.
day.
So you're
Yeah, she was-
justifying it?
Yeah, I mean, she was a good-looking woman. Carrie Fisher. I mean, the cocaine did her well.
Would
in
you
that
bang
era.
Carrie
So hold on,
Fisher?
so
Would you bang
hold on,
Carrie
hold on.
Fisher in 1980 if she was your sister? 734-494-0980.
Who's the celebrity that you look at and you go, man, she's lights out gorgeous?
Gorgeous enough to bang as your sister.
That's my question. Like, where's the line here, Nick? Because I don't know if that person exists.
I don't do that to people. I don't put people. I don't look at
You don't
people.
put
I don't
baby in a corner?
objectify people that way.
You objectify men, not women.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, who's hot enough to have sex with as your brother?
Jason
Go.
Momoa.
I was trying to think of like a name that would
Ryan
be
Gosling.
like. No, I was going to think. What's the guy? Eugene Levy. Oh, standards are low. Standards are low.
John Candy.
Currently.
Oh dear.
Get a shovel.
Oh dear. And moving on. Anything else that you really wanted to talk about today?
No, I wanted to talk about AIDS. We got that out of the way.
We got
so-
AIDS out of the way. The AIDS discussion.
I'm really
is
glad
out.
you brought that up.
Gosh, this is going to be the worst rated episode of our show ever.
Well,
No, people love this part.
Do
They pull the, bringing it back to Top Gun. Unfortunately, they pull the eject button. They eject after
When we get to the-
when we
when
get
we
to
get to the
Battlestar
show.
Galactica.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
we did have.
Goose.
So we asked the question of the week though this week. We're not going to play the question of the week music. I'm working on shortening it up. But DERP. That spells derp. Yeah. Okay. There's our question of the week
Derp,
music.
derp,
So our
derp,
question of the week this
derp,
week
derp,
is if
derp,
you get to create a holiday, any holiday you want. What is that holiday? And someone wrote in. They texted in, which you can text us at 734
494-0980.
0980. And theirs was Don't Be a Dick Day. And it's to be held in June because there's not a lot of holidays in the summer. Celebrate by doing something nice, like befriending someone new or just grilling and chilling with friends and fam, but not a-hole relatives no one likes because it's Don't Be a Dick Day.
On Instagram, we got a couple. Global Forgiveness Day. Pick someone you are super mad at and try to work it out. Or freedom just to let it go. I think spring because new beginnings. It's from Annette and then from Rick. Middle-aged white guy day. Ends by 8 o'clock.
There's a lot of kumbaya holidays here.
Okay,
we got
here's-
the
Where's our
Don't Be a
Purge
Dick
holiday?
Day. and-
Yeah.
Oh, I have a legit one.
Okay.
Super Monday.
Super Monday.
Yes, 100%.
Super Bowl Monday needs to be a
Yes.
national holiday.
Oh,
100%.
Or moves the Super Bowl to
No,
Saturday.
that's blasphemy.
I'm okay with it.
Well, actually, it's less blasphemy than it used to be because there's football.
There's football on
Monday,
Saturday.
Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday now.
Yeah.
we need to do something different
We do.
because this having to wake up for work the next morning
Mm-hmm.
or having to take the day off is just unacceptable. We as a people need to unite and make Super Bowl Monday a family day. To your point, you got to it's not be a dick day. There we go. We'll bridge the two.
Yeah, I mean,
Or we move the Super Bowl to Saturday. So NFL, if you're listening, come on, man. I
Yeah,
love Super Bowl Sunday. I love it. I love it with a passion. But let's start whoever we got to get in Congress to make this goddamn thing a holiday. Let's freaking do it.
it's not happening, my friend.
Not to be a corporate bottom either, but I mean, aside from March Madness, I think there's the most productivity lost on the Monday after the Super Bowl of
Absolutely, yeah.
all the entire year. So it just makes sense. You would just, do you know how much goodwill you would get with the American people if you? It doesn't matter your platform. The amount of goodwill you'd be like,
Just adding a holiday like that.
Yeah, so you
but
look at
Super Bowl Monday,
Adding
like,
that is
Super Monday.
You know what's sad about our country is adding a holiday like that. It would be less controversial than making Martin Luther King Day the holiday that they've made it. Like,
Yeah.
Everyone would support a Super Bowl one, but not MLK Day. People don't support that.
There are people who don't. You're right, and they're scumbags. But anyway, moving on to back to Super Bowl. This is important.
This is shifting that conversation right away. I love
No,
it.
not at all, because I have more to say, but you guys interrupt per usual.
That was
Wow.
Nick. That was Nick.
So think about it. To your point about the inefficiencies on Monday, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about all the industry out there that relies on safety? We're letting these people come to work tired, stressed, hungover, and we want them to continue being safe. That's just irresponsible.
Yeah, that is.
It is irresponsible.
It is.
I work in a safety field. I want my people rested. We need to move to Saturday or make Super Bowl Sunday a Monday. Super Bowl Monday a holiday. And if you come up with another reason, I don't care.
What do you think is the better play?
Probably Saturday. Saturday's easier.
You'll have more parties. Like there's more money to be had on a
There's
Saturday.
a lot more
the
money on
bars
Saturday.
would like it on Saturday.
Yep. I think
But why? But if you make Monday a holiday, Sunday becomes Saturday.
you still got church folk out there
And you
who go to Sunday nights.
Well, you also the holiday is
there's
the
Catholics who go to church on Saturday.
There's a lot of yeah.
But the
cares?
national holiday doesn't affect Target
There's
retail.
but there's a lot more steps to make that happen. If you're making
No, what I'm saying is I'm agreeing with you making it Saturday, because if you do Monday, it's not going to affect everybody. If you work in retail or you work in the service industry, these are still open on the 4th of July. They're still open on Martin Luther King Day, on Juneteenth, on all of these national holidays. You can go to Target, you can go get Starbucks, you can go do all these things, but your bank's not it doesn't affect everybody. Moving it to Saturday affects everybody.
I vote get rid of Christmas and change it with Super Bowl Sunday.
Hold on, you lost me at get rid of Christmas.
I hate that holiday.
Why?
I just do.
Why?
I'm over it.
I'm over you.
We'll make a Patreon out of it.
Okay.
Gentlemen.
This is the most uncomfortable silence we've had.
That's because you're being quiet.
Yeah.
You're gonna get diabetes. All right. I don't have any
You don't have
holidays.
one?
I didn't think of one really.
Nothing?
I mean, I don't know.
Not like National Roll Your Ankle Day?
That's every day for me.
Yeah.
It is every day for me.
I had one and it
Keeping up with the Kardashians Day?
I'm trying to think of like a real one though, like something that could
I have
actually have a chance of passing.
Super Bowl Monday.
I propose to make voting day a national holiday.
Yes.
And let's change it to February so you piggyback it on Super Bowl Monday.
No,
voting day needs to be a national holiday. Because then we'll
now,
stop arguing about like all these things about voting ahead of time and all that.
Stop arguing.
No, we wouldn't. But like you can actually argue. Like there's the people who argue you shouldn't be able to vote well ahead of time, or the polls should, like those places that try to close their polls at 5 intentionally so they can stop the whole working class people from going to vote. Like that no longer becomes an issue.
Make it a national holiday, and you should be able. Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's my vote.
And serve beer at the front.
Yeah,
that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Sign
And
me.
these are our candidates. Fuck.
I actually think too that we should work out a way that you get a tax break when you vote to encourage voting.
Okay. I'm not against it, but I think our country's going broke, so I'm kind of against it. I don't like
going.
Our country's going broke because we have bad policies in place, and we don't have people voting to help get rid of those bad policies.
True.
But people vote for the same people.
You're going. I don't know.
You have to spend money to make money is the way I'm looking at it. It's like, I think part of the problem is we have so many people who just have checked out.
Here's the thing. We're just going to vote the same clowns in.
I mean, maybe not. I don't know.
I mean,
but maybe we don't want to force people to vote who wouldn't vote anyways because they're not going to be informed.
I agree with that.
But then again, we already have people who vote who aren't informed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How informed is the average person?
Hey, actually, my holiday is get rid of the vote day. No one's allowed to vote anymore.
Wow.
Oh, fascist
wow,
Nick.
I know.
Here we go. Nick, what is it? So Nick hates
True
fun.
colors come. Yeah.
Nick hates fun
and democracy,
women, and freedom.
Hey, to be fair, we don't live in a democracy. We live in a representative democracy.
Fair enough.
Okay, so he said you hate democracy, which you do. I say you hate freedom, which you do. So just add it to the. I'm going to write this down. Nick hates.
Yeah, we should just come up with a whole list.
Fun.
I hate
Women.
diabetes.
No, you give it to everybody.
But I hate it.
You love it.
Freedom.
So you can give it to people.
I love it as a weapon.
Yeah.
Fun.
And Dave Matthews Band.
Too bad it's not all F's. Then again, when I say Dave Matthews Band, I usually put an F in front of it.
Fun, women, freedom, and Dave Matthews Band.
Throw democracy on there for fun.
Okay, there you go.
Democracy.
Anything else, gentlemen?
No.
We should move on to Battlestar Galactica now that we know I'm a scumbag.
Yeah.
All right. I feel good about that. Oh, there was one other. There's one other text message that I wanted to read that we got in, and this is in a response to our episode a couple of weeks ago, and it says, "Kudos to Joe for seeing the Bush-Cheney parallel in Ensign Row. I didn't see it, but you are spot on. Once in power, to hell with humanity. I hold the power. Also, the music in the beginning of Pegasus is horrible." Rob is 100% on this one. I would never insult my clients by playing that trash during a massage.
It was terrible.
No offense to the composer. It was not a fit for the scene at all.
Terrible. And if there's opportunity for Joe to see Bush, he can always see Bush.
Yeah.
Oh, Bush Cheney. Okay. I'm like,
Yeah.
What is he talking about? Okay. I'm with you. All right.
Nick's so innocent.
Battlestar Galactica. Here we go. We got 2 episodes today. We got Epiphanies and Black Market. Epiphanies. Rosalind, it's time. She about to go, man. They're wheeling her down to the hospital so she can die in peace. And as she's dying, she starts having all these flashbacks, hallucinations, but flashbacks to her time before the bombs dropped from the Cylons. And she flashes back to 6 months ago when she received her cancer diagnosis, but also to when she was talking with the head of the teaching union, trying to end their strike. And as she's dealing with the teachers union, trying to end the strike, she sees Baltar out there hanging out with number 6. So she realizes, holy crap, this guy has had contact with 6 well before, we realize, like, I really don't trust this guy. So she has those visions. And during those visions, you realize she was having an affair with President Adar, who actually fired her because he wanted her to fail at her job. But she's like, no, I'm not going to resign yet. I'm going to the Battlestar Galactica. And then after that, we'll have a conversation, which is kind of funny because technically she shouldn't have been in line to succeed as president because he basically fired her. So she wasn't the Secretary of Education when she went on the Galactica. But anyways, so
You want her to resign.
yeah. So all that happens. In the meantime, she says that time to terminate the pregnancy of Sharon. We need that kid dead. Kill that baby. Kill it. And Baltar realizes that, wait, we can use that blood. There's something about that blood that we can use to heal the president. So they use the blood to heal the president. Meanwhile, there's civilian crew members are sabotaging ammunition. Turns out there's a whole thing on the fleet who are now demanding peace with the Cylons. They're Cylon sympathizers. And Adama doesn't want to negotiate. But once Rosalind is well enough, she goes and negotiates with them, and she releases them. Baltar gets a letter from the president that basically says, you suck. And because of that, Baltar takes the nuclear bomb that he had and gives it to Gina. She rejects his sexual advances. She had joined this demand peace thing, but she gives him the nuclear bomb as a sign that she's working with to make peace with the Cylons. End of episode.
First time ever that a nuclear bomb has represented peace?
I know, right? I don't understand that. Like, so is he giving her this bomb because he wants her to use it, or is he really giving her this bomb because he's trying to be like, yeah, my goal is to make peace with the Cylons now? Like, because earlier in the episode, he's like, no, you misrepresent who I am. I am for humanity. I'm not for the Cylons. And then he's giving her the bomb. Or is this just Baltar being Baltar, looking out like the letter that Rosalind sent him? If you can get out of your own way and stop having an ego, you could do good. Like, is this his ego?
Was her letter really that bad to him? It just hurt his ego.
Hurt his ego.
It wasn't
that
bad at all.
It was actually a good letter.
It was encouraging, saying don't be a douche and you'll be good.
I imagine that would be the letter that Obama wrote to
I imagine
Trump.
It's way better than the letter that Trump
wrote
to
oh,
Biden.
yeah.
Guys, I think we have a project. I think we need to write the Trump to Biden letter and just read like our own version
And
of
read
it
it in
and
the
read it on
voice
the
of
show.
Trump.
Oh my God!
You will be hugely successful.
No, no. He
No.
You'll
never be as good as me.
Yep.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, yeah.
So okay, so there was a lot in this episode. I think
This is my Trump hands.
those look like Joe Cocker hands.
Okay.
So there was a lot in this episode, right? And I thought there was a lot in this
I
episode.
thought there was some good stuff in this episode.
I think there's a lot of good stuff in this episode, but there.
Right.
So Rosalind sees
Your
Baltar-
opinion no longer counts.
Rosalind sees Baltar with six in
yeah.
the flashback, right?
Yeah.
189 days ago.
Yeah. Literally right before the bombs dropped. Yeah.
So this whole time she knows.
She
didn't know that she
blocked it out.
She didn't know.
Well, she didn't know that she was a Cylon then.
Yeah, but I don't think she.
But then they figured.
She doesn't think it don't clicked until she had the vision.
It's kind of like your life flashing before your eyes, and you see details in a way that you maybe didn't see them before. So I think that's really what it was. Like she's zeroing it. She wasn't focused on him in that moment, but in her recollection, she now is.
For the first time on this podcast, Nick is right.
Yeah. Doubtful.
I'm taking away.
Mark it down. What episode? 118.
I'm taking away your diabetes. You no longer have it for right now.
Just cancer.
You don't have the shot kind. You just have like if you manage your diet, it'll go away kind.
I'm gonna give you ass cancer though if you keep it up. Okay. Anyways,
Like personally, give it to me. What's up?
we're gonna
Ass cancer, which Nick thought this whole time was AIDS.
I'm so sorry that I don't know these things. All right. So going back to this. So originally you thought that she knew all along that he had a relationship with
Yeah,
Six?
because I didn't think that I just found it peculiar that where this is the first time we're seeing this flashback and her extracting this knowledge from her mind. But you're saying it's one of these sort of unlocked subconscious recollections.
Yeah, because she had no interest in Baltar at that point in her life. She didn't care about him, so she sees him in the background. He's just another guy.
But I'm gonna guess around a month ago or so, in Battlestar Galactica time, maybe 45 days ago.
Yeah.
She was very suspicious of this man. She wouldn't have recalled this event then.
No, because she was,
subconsciously maybe it was in there,
Yeah.
but consciously she couldn't bring it to her
and
conscious
that's
mind.
also when they were trying to find Kobol and deal with that, and she's still in the midst of dying. Like I think now she's to the point where all she has left is dying. Right? She's laying on her deathbed. She doesn't have anything else to distract her from her thoughts. She is just. And I'm sure drugs play a little bit into it. Or did they say she refused the morphine? She refused.
I think she refused the morphine.
She refused medicine.
So then I have 5 follow-up questions to this because Gina is the only other version of Six that he has shown interest in, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that was very recently, so we can cross her off.
Yeah.
The only other physical version of Six that we saw was
The Planet Six. The Kepka Six.
well. Remember the was she like a interview? She was
yeah.
on Galactica.
She was on Galactica, and she was the one who put the
Yes, but
the
they
device
weren't.
in.
They weren't friendly then to each other. And the only they
Oh, was that the same Gina? Because she disappeared off the ship
No, because Gina was on Pegasus.
the whole time. Okay.
Yeah. So, and the only other version of Six that we know him to interact with is the one that nobody else can see.
Head Six. Yeah.
Well,
So how did she
there
see?
was in the miniseries or first thing he had real Six on Earth.
Yeah,
or on
that was
Caprica.
yeah.
There was a real.
She was
Six.
real on Earth. Remember, she protected him from dying in the blast. She put her body in front of him when the nuclear blast came.
So was this on Earth then that she saw him?
Caprica.
Caprica.
Yeah,
So then it still doesn't make sense how
I think you're overthinking it.
I'm trying to piece everything together. Like
I just think like it's the equivalent of me being in downtown Plymouth, like hanging out with you guys, having fun, having a beer, and I look in the background and I see two people making out, and I'm just like, oh, whatever, and I pay no attention to it. And then one day I'm laying on my deathbed, and I'm like, remember that day I was out there? And I'm like,
I
those
get
people are
that
familiar,
part.
you know,
But my question is, where would they have been together physically?
on Caprica.
Yeah, because they were a thing.
They were a thing on Caprica.
Like, she was some
she
kind
was
of-
alive. She was a real person.
Yeah, she
'Cause
was some kind of.
He gave her access to the mainframes and all that. She was a defense contractor.
Okay, I don't.
So she wasn't a head
I'm-
6 at that point. She didn't become a head 6 for him until after the
Things
whole
went boom.
explosions and booms, because that's when he's like, "Holy crap, I'm crazy."
Is that back in the mini? Is that back in the movie, the miniseries?
Was it miniseries? I think it might have been.
I think it was.
It might have been the miniseries.
Okay.
They might have introduced that in 33 with her in his head. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't remember. I just remember rolling my eyes.
All right, I'm sufficiently satisfied, I suppose. I'm sufficiently satisfied to move on from this topic. This
Fair enough.
point.
I'm
I still find
looking
it-
up the first appearance of her just for.
Head 6. I'm gonna go with the first episode of the regular series. No, I would think miniseries.
I think miniseries.
I think miniseries is probably.
I
The first
really
time.
think it was the miniseries because it was after the
'Cause the
explosion.
dumb music showed up. Yeah,
Well, remember the miniseries was 2 movies basically.
Yeah,
Right.
it was. It was.
so yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the miniseries.
Okay.
Okay, so we've talked about that. We got that out of the way.
Mm.
So she doesn't trust Baltar. Her letter to Baltar, like, the implication is that she ripped Baltar, but we read the letter and it's not that bad.
No, she's not ripping him. She's
She's
encouraging
like,
him.
you will be a good president if you can do this.
When did she write this letter?
Weeks ago, I'm assuming.
I'm gonna guess.
Okay,
weeks
so
ago.
before this vision then.
Before the vision,
Oh, yeah.
because she's too out of it now. But
Well, no, I'm saying because she doesn't mention anything about it.
Oh
no,
yeah, it was.
like,
Like, they
there's
had
no-
to because she was basically she couldn't write in the bed.
yeah,
Well, I
she
know,
was,
but if she wrote it after this vision, it would be
I would
like
guess
you're
the
a
tentative-
goddamn
yeah.
Cylon. Like you're a Cylon. I think you're a Cylon, or you're a Cylon sympathist.
I don't think there would be a letter if it
Sympathist?
after this. I think she would call up a dom and
Sympathizer?
said.
Sympathizer.
I think she would
Synthesizer.
collaborator.
Yeah, that's good.
silent collaborate. Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good.
Yeah.
I like collaborator. That's a good word.
It's a lot more damning than some other words.
Yeah, sympathizer implies something else, right?
Yeah, collaborator, you're just scum who.
Collaborator, you're
Sympathizer's-
working with them.
Yeah.
Sympathizer, you
Like,
feel
like,
bad.
oh,
yeah.
I see their point.
So, like,
Sorry.
if they
Hey.
if they knew that Gina was a Cylon on that ship, then they would be collaborators. But right now, they're just sympathizers.
Right.
Mm.
But since they don't know she's a Cylon, they're just sympathizers. Okay, so we got that out of the way. We're good on that. Hilo, is he shooting Adama there if Baltar doesn't walk in?
No.
Is he pulling out his gun?
I didn't get that
Do
impression.
you think Adama's going to talk him down?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get that impression. I think he was just trying to flex a little bit,
Yeah. I don't think he was going to pull it.
or maybe he was torn in the moment.
Yeah.
But I didn't get that impression.
I don't know. Like, Joe is ready to come to fists on the streets of Detroit over his kid. I mean,
Well, he got time invested in that kid.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got time invested.
is
something
your
happens, that's-
implication that a child that's not born is not worth it?
I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying he had 12 years of experience and money spent on this child.
Yeah. I'm out that money.
I love how
That's-
your money spent.
that's-
I'm out
that's
that
an
money.
Invested financially.
He's investing financially in that thing. So
Yeah.
I really think that at that point you kind of have to protect your investment because otherwise you've wasted a lot of money.
100%.
You're just bad at finances
Yeah,
at that point.
I mean, exactly.
Financially irresponsible.
Yep.
So Hilo's not shooting Adama. He's not fighting back. He's gonna step out of the way and let them terminate Sharon's pregnancy.
I don't know about step out of the way.
Yeah.
I think he would.
But he's
he
not
would,
gonna
he would be
shoot.
subdued. I don't think he would pull the trigger. I
Yeah.
think there may be a tussle, or I think I don't think. I think he would be subdued against his will, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't come to violence.
Would you do the same
As who?
as Hilo? Would you be Hilo in this situation? Would you be like, yeah, it's a command, so I have to follow commands because I'm a military officer? Or would
now,
you-
now this is a good
Because that's
question.
what Adama pulled, right? He's like, you're an officer, and this is
This is a good question. I don't know, because I have on this show I have said
you've advocated for genocide of the Cylons.
I have,
yeah,
and I have not
you've advocated for torture in war
to a point. Yes,
to a point.
To a point.
to a point. I don't know. This is a very tough question
Yeah, it is.
because I don't know that I can kind of see both sides of this.
For sure.
Well, I mean, it's a Cylon hybrid baby, so there's that.
Do we I mean,
Nature over nurture.
the implication is that this is
Or nurture over nature.
Sharon's child, right? So it will probably hopefully be like-minded, and it won't be on the bad side of the Cylons, right?
Right.
We're sort of taking that leap.
But I'm assuming my assumption
If
would
you're-
be
if-
with this baby would be that like your thought is all the other Cylons were programmed. This Cylon wouldn't be programmed by them, right? Because she's just naturally occurring.
Mm-hmm.
The
Right.
Cylons before weren't naturally occurring. They were made.
It's all about how you raise the baby.
They had the resurrection ships.
Yeah.
and
Now, I'm
nature
gonna
versus nurture.
I'm gonna sort of sidestep the big question because I
Okay.
don't really
All right, all right.
Juke it.
and say that I don't think that I would terminate this pregnancy even if I was Adama for research purposes.
That would be me too. Like I'm going to let this thing happen
Yes.
because this is, while you may consider it like a insult to nature, like
This-
it helps you understand the Cylons better.
This
I would
isn't
think.
like what's the fighting breed on Star Trek? The
Jemadar.
The
the Jem'Hadar,
yeah.
where they grow up in weeks and they're adults in like 3 weeks or whatever. It
Well,
was.
and they're also genetically made. They're not naturally
Right.
occurring.
So this is still half human,
yeah.
and it's going to be an infant.
Yeah.
It's not going to be threatening.
Right.
So I would err on the side of
You're
let's
assuming that.
not.
We don't know what this thing's going to do when it gets out of the womb.
That's true. It could be like a Xeno
But again,
whatever from Aliens.
Yeah.
But again,
The face huggers.
everything we know about the Cylons is there are human-looking Cylons, and then there are machines. We are under the assumption it's not going to be born a machine.
Right. We're under that assumption. Yeah.
So I think it can be born under military advisement,
Mm-hmm.
and if something happens, you have people there to deal with it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to terminate this pregnancy out of research. I think knowledge, understanding my enemy is number one.
And they said there's something about the blood of this thing.
Yeah. It doesn't have a blood type.
So where's the immediate threat in just making that statement? Why not, like to your point, bring it out and
Research
this thing? Like why was that such a big like turning point? Like there's an abnormality in its blood. Okay.
Of course there is.
Yeah.
It's a hybrid
Yeah,
baby. Yeah.
no shit, Sherlock.
Well, and that's kind of the interesting
It
thing
was
about
quite
it.
a bit of
'cause-
a leap.
Well, and also like part of Rosalind ordering the termination of the pregnancy is a little bit of a leap, but is also not, because again, she's thinking she's dying. So before she dies, she needs to wrap up any loose ends, and this baby's a loose end. So let's get this baby out of the way before I die, so that way no one else has to make the choices.
Is she in her right mind to make these decisions?
Well, and that's my question too, because like Adama at one point says she seemed right in her mind. It's like, but this kind of came out of nowhere. So, and she's dying. So
Yeah.
no, not even if she does it without medications influencing her decision, where like her emotions are influencing her decision, and Adama should see through that. But he also said he would never question her again.
yeah, but
So
she's really a lame duck here. And do you want lame ducks making these kinds of decisions?
not really.
Because she's not going to pay the consequences of she's not going to be in the wake of these decisions.
Do you think part of the reason why Adama goes with it is because he knows who's taking over the presidency next, though? Like, yeah, she's the lame duck president, but they know once Baltar is president, nothing's going to get happen. I mean, like, even Adama says it, like, pull yourself together. You're about to be the president, man.
No, because we've seen Adama go against what the president says.
Okay.
I don't think that he has any. I think he's.
He's got
I
an
don't wanna
admiration for Rosalind. He doesn't have the
I don't want to say
admiration for Baltar.
looking
No, he does
forward,
not.
but I don't think he fears a Baltar presidency or respects a Baltar presidency like he does.
yeah, I think that's
Rosalind,
a good way of wording
so
it. He doesn't
if-
respect it.
I think he'll sort of almost assume his own command, and then Baltar will be more of a figurehead.
Mm-hmm. And his.
I also think that he can manipulate Baltar.
See, I think
in a way.
Baltar's more dangerous than we think he is.
I think he is too, because he's so much of a flake.
Right, he can be on your side one moment and swap the next. We saw that in this episode. He's
This
like,
guy's about as
I'm
inconsistent
all
as they
about the
get.
humans. I'm all about the humans. No. Here's a bomb, Cylon.
Oh, someone didn't say I was the best thing ever.
And let me give a nuclear
Here's
bomb
a
to her.
nuclear bomb.
I think Baltar is extremely dangerous as he is right now. I think he's someone you don't want to. You want to watch him.
I think he's soft.
I don't think he can be manipulated the way you think he can,
I think he's soft, and
especially with Head 6.
That being said, if I'm in Hilo's position, I would absolutely kill Adama.
Yeah, I would rather
I-
die than
yes.
see someone take my kid's life. So
Yes, because
Knowing
as far
that-
as his emotions,
yeah,
it doesn't matter if Sharon's a Cylon or not. That's his child.
yeah, exactly. And how can you live with yourself after that if you let someone go and do that? That would be hard. Rob's like, I can. But I couldn't live with myself knowing that I let someone walk, like I didn't fight for my child. I didn't fight for my kid. I just let someone come in and do that. I don't know what your faces are, and I'm very confused.
He's anti-violence.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't want any violence out there.
It's true.
Peace. Make love, not
Kumbaya,
peace, man.
Peace,
Kumbaya.
brother. Well, they already made love, and now they have the results.
Baltar's claiming the child.
Well, I know. You know, we need like a Maury Povich Battlestar Galactica
Oh my
episode.
gosh.
You are not the father. Oh,
You don't fracking know me. You don't fracking know me.
Sharon's out there, and they bring Hilo, Baltar, and the chief out. Who's the real father of this
We've
child?
read the results. So say we all. You are not the father.
And I think the doctor could play Maury Povich. He kind of looks like him in a
I've
way.
got that look. Oh, gods no. Gods no.
Only if he's smoking.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How is the doctor the only one who has real cigarettes on this place? Like he
Well,
has actual
Because of
cigarettes.
the black market.
We see that a little bit in the next episode with the black market, right? But we also saw, well, that's the next
He's the
episode. We saw
only
there's
one.
more doctors in the next episode.
Did we actually see there were more
Yeah,
doctors?
because they brought a doctor, and that was a doctor who came in.
Sure wasn't some kind of like nurse.
I got big problems with the next episode.
Well, that was the lowest rated episode of
That's
all
the
time.
next episode.
All right. So, more things in there. Cylon sympathizers. Could you see this happening? People are like, we've lost. Make peace with them.
Of course I can.
Yeah. Do you think it would be...
People follow. That's what they do.
Do you think they would intentionally sabotage the
Yes.
weapon? Oh, wow. I think you're right, though. And that's what makes me sad. Like, that you can have wronged so bad by someone else, and then you have people and you would be
I
like,
think
well,
it's-
this was our fault.
I think it's simpler than that. You guys all know someone in your life that's easily influenced by whoever's around them. You guys all have that person in your life.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Me?
Not you. Of course not you.
No, I don't mean me, but I know
Yeah.
people. I know what people are too.
Yeah. We all have that person in our life, and unfortunately, there's more than probably than
Where
the
yeah.
headstrong people.
Yeah.
Of course, there are going to be those people out there,
Does that mean
and
they're
in
causing...
droves.
Okay. Yes, I can buy that. What I'm really getting at is their cause just? Can you see where they're... Like, is there a reason where you could be like, they're kind of right?
Yes and no, because I don't think it's as simple as that. I think that these people try to wipe out the entire human race. And I think seeking peace with them is an ideal thing. But the question is, the Cylons have shown no desire to seek peace
So that'd be like going to Hitler during World War II and asking for peace.
No,
As a whole.
as a whole.
Yeah.
I mean, you have your-
individually.
you have your one-offs.
Yes.
But as a whole, they have shown no interest
There's
in it.
no desire for
How many
it.
times did they try to blow up Galactica itself?
Now I have a question.
Absolutely, you're right.
How much influence do you think these one or two off Cylons could have if you let them back in and say try to use them as tools for peace to influence, sort of spread the word and
I don't know.
influence?
I think there might be some of that, but it seems like the Cylons as a whole, the ones we've seen like on Caprica, a little more headstrong than that.
Now, do you think you could, if you get Baltar on board, do you think that's a bigger piece?
No, I think everybody will look at Baltar and say he's an idiot and go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they haven't yet.
I
They've-
know.
I mean, they think he's God's gift to intelligence.
Yeah, on both sides of the friggin' coin.
That's true.
Yeah, the humans revere him, and so do the Cylons.
Yeah, that's true. Is Baltar really the good guy?
Really?
What?
I'd hate this show if he is. If it ends up Baltar's like the god and he's everything and he's the good, I'll give the whole show. I will retroactively give every episode a 3.
That's understandable. That's
Every
totally-
episode that he's in.
which is all of them, pretty much, right?
We got a break on one a couple weeks ago. We got a break in one of them. I
Oh,
don't remember
that's
what
true.
it
We did.
And it was really nice.
That was-
I know.
all right. So you could see how there would be a group though that would want peace.
Absolutely.
I could see that with their desperation. You know, you like going back to Cain, right? Her solution was the only solution is to kill or be killed. Adama's solution is we need to run and find somewhere safe to be. And then these people are saying, okay, we can't run, we can't kill or be killed. We just need to surrender and hope that they'll show mercy upon us. Which is stupid.
They're using the word negotiate, but I don't think Asylum's going to negotiate.
Well,
are you going to negotiate with the Cardassians in seasons 1 through 6 of Deep Space Nine?
But
no.
also, but
I would.
You could because you had the Federation and you had the power. But what power does the Battlestar Galactica have to negotiate? You don't have any leverage. They can
drastically outnumbered.
They can continue to chase you.
Oh, look, there's the Battlestar Galactica. Just open fire.
Yeah, exactly. You have no negotiating.
Oh, the open
power.
hailing frequencies. Who cares?
The only negotiating power I could see them having is we have a Cylon hybrid baby on
That's the only thing they got, and they don't have that yet.
That's it. And they don't even know they have that.
Right.
Right?
Well, I think they do.
The Cylons know.
Yeah.
But the rest of the fleet does not know. So these peaceful people, they don't know the demand peace, which is ironic because they're bombing and destroying the fleet.
Yeah. Peace. Here's a bomb.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a question that would probably lead to a broader discussion, but
that's what we do on the show.
Okay, so they're against they want to abort this baby until they realize that the baby can cure disease, right? And we have a crisis in this country currently.
Which one?
A crisis
diabetes?
With abortion and with women's rights.
Yeah.
Across the country, it's spreading.
Yeah.
And we also have the same people are very much against stem cell research, which is what this is.
Unless it would benefit them.
But
let's be clear.
Do you think that currently, if this scenario were to play out in real life,
if we said that stem cells now all of a sudden can heal cancer, absolutely, we know for a fact they could.
Does this change anybody's opinion? Could this unify?
It will change
on this.
It would not unify. It would change some opinions for selfish people who want to go against their own belief system.
Yeah, because I think so. Abortion gets really tricky because there are some people who truly strongly have strong religious convictions for that, and I will never fight those people with the strong religious convictions. The problem I have with those strong religious convictions is when you try to enforce them upon people who maybe don't have those convictions, right? I think what you could see happen is those people, there would be some people with those strong religious convictions who would not back down no matter what, because, God told him that's what was wrong. But I think others, instead of voting for it, would just be the people who abstain. Like, just be like, I'm not going to be a part of the vote. I'm just going to back away, and whatever happens. I could see that happening. But I don't think you're going to get many people to all of a sudden who are in favor of abortion now or who are against abortion to all of a sudden be in favor of being pro-choice because of stem cells, because of that.
So if let's say we do research and the stem cells in a fetus cure a disease. Let's say
diabetes.
Let's say diabetes. Diabetes kills a significant number of people in this country. We are significant. We're incredibly overweight, unhealthy. Diabetes kills a lot of people.
Are you looking at me for unhealthy?
I'm saying that you said it as a joke because we give people diabetes on this show all the time.
Nick.
Well, Nick did gives diabetes out all the time, like he's Oprah. But I think
everybody gets diabetes.
I think it's a legitimate disease for this hypothetical. So let's say it cures diabetes, right?
Yeah.
What was it? You got me sidetracked. Does that change anything?
I don't think it does because I think a lot of the
how can you go back and say? How can you go back and say that you're going to not save these many thousands of lives, hundreds of thousands of lives?
Because the argument would be
millions over the course of time.
God is in control. And God is deciding who lives and who dies. That would be the argument.
Couldn't you argue that God gave you this resource?
You can make that argument.
See what happened with COVID? Faith over fear. I'm not taking the jab because I believe in God.
But the fundamental belief for a lot of the anti-abortion people is that the child is alive in the womb, right?
Yes.
That's the fundamental argument that they kind of plant their flag on. Do you sacrifice one life for another? Is what their argument would be.
Yeah.
And you can't do that.
The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
They're not Vulcans, though.
Yeah, but you're still in their view, sacrificing a life for other people.
It's never acceptable.
That's
but
not
it's
acceptable.
not really a sacrifice. That child's going to be terminated one way or the other.
But if they can stop the termination to begin with, they would rather do that.
Yeah, the whole problem is they don't think abortion is right. So now you're asking them to, okay, so we abort the child. Let's use it. You're going against our fundamental argument, and that the people who truly believe
they won't
that that's a life and that's the reason you don't want it, they're not going to do that.
What percentage of people is that?
It's a small percentage because I don't think a lot of people of faith are truly into their own faith and belief system. I think a lot of them are hypocrites. So I think when it conveniences a lot of them. You
can still be hypocrites, but still hold a strong. I think those hypocrites you speak of, let's say there's 50 million hypocrites, right? That are hardcore Christians. I think a large majority of them would be very much in favor of hardcore restrictions on abortion.
Well,
even though they're hypocrites on a lot of things, they would be.
I think they're hypocrites probably on that too.
Well, until it comes to them.
Well,
It's like politicians, like they want to ban abortion.
But you know they've
we had
had
a president who wanted to ban abortion, and we know
he's got to have at least 7.
Yeah. So it's mainly banning it for the poor people, not for the rich. The rich will find ways.
Once the politicians, all optics with them.
Yeah, it is.
That's all it is with them.
Yeah, but as a politician, saving millions of lives over the course of history,
You're going against the fundamental argument again.
Mm-hmm.
The optics are I'm saving millions, billions of lives over the course of time.
But you don't know that we can't find it a different way would be the argument. You don't know that.
Oh, we haven't found it. We haven't found it. We have the greatest.
But who are you to act like
Western
God
medicine,
and determine who lives
Western
and who
medicine
dies?
is the greatest it's ever been.
I know.
We still have this cure.
So Last of Us. Ellie has the cure for the virus.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen it, so.
She is 13, 14?
14.
14 in the show. People want to kill her.
Because the killer is the only way they can get the cure out of her.
Yeah.
But now we have a fundamental disagreement because she is a born child who is alive.
Capable of making that choice, but they don't give her that choice.
But the argument is that the unborn... We got to stop this. But the argument's the same for the people who believe the unborn child is alive.
Yeah, but beliefs aren't facts.
Well,
no,
whoa, slow down, because baby has a heartbeat, right, in the womb. Baby moves in the womb, reacts to things in the womb.
That's a fact.
Stays in the womb.
Okay, so when are we talking here?
I don't know the answer to that question
because we're talking. I mean, I've lost a child at 22 weeks. That child was not able to survive outside the womb at 22 weeks.
Right.
Anything before that, it's very, very sketchy.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's survivable on its own.
Yeah.
Without medical intervention outside the womb.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that 14-year-old easily can survive.
So here's the argument that could be used against that. Well, that means anytime anyone gets sick and needs medical care, we just don't provide, then their life is worthless because they aren't unable to take care of themselves.
I don't necessarily disagree with that.
But there are cases where people get better from those kind of things too.
Right.
It happens rarely.
Right. Like COVID, right? Well, let's just let God figure it out. They should be able to. I mean, their body will take care of it.
Ventilator was a death sentence in COVID, right? You get on a ventilator.
They didn't know how to.
Your chances of surviving are
gone. Yeah.
Very, very low.
Yep.
And when you're on, I'm talking machines that keep you alive, not machines to give you IVs or to intravenously give you medication or MRI machines to detect stuff. I'm talking machines that are beating your heart for you.
Yeah.
Those are that's a slippery slope right there. Are you truly alive?
Right.
The machine is doing all the work.
Well,
really. Unless it's like a medically induced coma type of thing where you need to be out for them to.
I think that their argument to that would be, and I'm thinking about this, would be we're not giving that thing a chance to grow.
Yes.
And any way you spin, I don't know if I'm trying to think of the best way to articulate. But I think that's what the argument would be. I think most Christians or most people that are anti-abortion believe life begins at conception. But I also think that they would argue that we're terminating a life before it could be a life, might be an extension of that belief system. Right. I don't know, but I think so. I think that's what the argument would be, is that we're not giving this thing a chance to live.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking away its opportunity.
Yeah.
Whether you agree with it or not, that's going to be I think that would be the argument.
That's exactly. And when you're dealing with faith and matters of belief like that,
faith is the key word there.
You said that's not a fact.
Beliefs are not facts.
Yeah, exactly.
They can't be.
But
what if
again,
you believe in facts?
If you believe in something that deeply,
You don't believe in facts. They just exist. Facts are facts.
Joking.
But if you believe in something that deeply, that is going to inform how you respond to
our
your
relationship
so-called
on the rocks?
facts.
No.
Okay.
It is. Guys, we could talk about this all day. We really could. We got to move on, though.
Please.
We got to move on. We do. This is a good conversation.
Listen,
and
I'm just
that's
talking.
What Patreon's for, guys.
I'm discussing what was brought up in the episode.
I know. It's a really good conversation.
I mean, they don't shy away from this either.
We're going to be like
they use the word
under
abortion.
2 hours too until this.
They use the word abortion.
We were on pace for like an hour and 15-minute episode.
Really were.
And then Joe gets in.
Has the
I'm sorry, you gave us an abortion episode to watch.
I didn't give it to you. The show gave it to you.
In all fairness, I wish we could have aborted this episode.
Oh
no. You have to give this episode an opportunity.
I did. Retroactively, I wanted to abort the episode.
It is kind of funny,
This is
though.
my best case. This is my best argument.
It is.
Do you see what happens when you don't abort something?
You get Hitler.
My last note, I will end it. It's funny how this baby was useless to them until all of a sudden it could benefit them.
Right.
And then,
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just funny. Like, no, this baby needs to die. This baby needs to die. Wait, hold on. Cancer blood? Okay. Keep the baby alive. Which that was the final point I was going to make. Did that feel too cheap, or is that okay for you that Rosalind was going to die and then all of a sudden she's okay?
I kind of expected something like this.
Okay.
I knew she wasn't going to die. I didn't know how they were going to do it.
Yeah.
But
I think it makes sense in light of the story, especially with Cylons. We already know that they have, better healing abilities.
I was expecting nanobots.
Yeah.
I really was.
I mean, it certainly
You
makes.
didn't get them, though. I'm sorry.
I got a version of it.
The small version, yeah.
I mean, it definitely makes the Cylons more interesting now that we have this very unique piece of information.
Yeah.
Sorry, I sparked discussion.
No one listens to this part of the episode.
That's true. This is the best. This is the best discussion.
I know there's some good stuff there, but
although we got text messages saying I was right about Bush and Cheney, so
that's true.
People do listen.
Okay, so we'll go back.
Hold
to
on,
two
you
people.
said plural. It was text message.
Yeah.
Not text messages.
So we get one person that listens to the whole show.
Okay, we'll take it. All right, ready for the
you caught me.
next episode?
Ugh.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. There's a black market on the fleet. They have Apollo investigating, and Apollo's depressed and lonely, so he's sleeping with a prostitute, and he's trying to use this prostitute to replace his girlfriend who died on Caprica. They find the Black Fleet guy. Apollo the black market guy.
The Black Fleet guy.
The Black Fleet guy.
Freudian slip there.
They find the black market
He's
guy.
not wrong.
Yeah.
Who's actually trading in children as well. And Apollo kills him and says the black market can continue, but you can't trade in children or kill people.
Because it's necessary.
And Rosalind's unhappy, but she accepts the answer. Dee tries to make a move on Apollo, but he rejects her, so she goes back to Billy.
Oh, Billy.
Oh, Billy.
Oh, Billy.
Okay, that's the end of this episode.
This episode sucked.
Can you get that soundbite? I need the Oh Billy soundbite.
I don't have it yet, but I'll get it for you. Yeah, this episode is
I got a lot of problems with this episode.
This episode was rated the worst episode of Battlestar Galactica by far.
I did not pay attention. I watched it once and I'm like, I didn't pay attention to it, and I watched it again and I'm like, I'm still not paying attention to this thing.
It's not a great episode. It is
so
easily the weakest episode of the series. Easily.
I'd rather watch Move Along Home.
Okay, so here we go.
Yeah.
At least there's some fun in that.
Yeah, that's true.
The whole thing with Lee and the woman and the kid, it's I was so confused because it's forced upon you. There's no
Comes
lead
out
up
of
to
nowhere.
it.
Yeah.
They raw dog this story like you wouldn't believe.
And it's not even like they raw dog it because it's going to happen in any series you watch. They raw dog it hard.
Yeah.
Like
I know
hard.
because they didn't even show you him meeting her, anything. The first thing you see is he's in a full-fledged relationship basically with this woman and her child.
Yeah.
He's basically playing daddy to this kid.
I don't think he's playing daddy to this kid. He's trying to get this kid's affection.
Who's your daddy?
Which
He
is
wa- he
kind of
was-
weird because he's going to see a prostitute
I mean,
and this
he's-
kid's in the next room, and that's kind of creepy.
He's kind of
that
playing
he's-
daddy, bringing it to I should have got one with two eyes. He's trying to win
he's
the kid
trying
over.
to win
So
the
he's
kid's affection, yeah.
as what
As a
a
replacement.
friend or a father, as a father figure.
Yeah.
So he's like people in strip clubs who get grander, like strip club grander, and he's like, nah, she works
She's
on
not
tips,
interested
bro.
in you,
She works
yeah.
on tips
Oh, she loves me. Yeah.
Yeah.
She said she'll hang out with me. I just
until your
have to get-
pockets are empty, and then she's like, who's this guy?
Yeah, exactly.
Then it's the big bouncer escorting you out.
Right.
So I didn't like the way that they shoehorned this story in.
They shoehorn it. Absolutely is
it was-
shoehorned.
And it wasn't like a side piece story either. It was the main story.
It was, yeah.
It was the way to get the main. I'm like, this is the best you could do to sort of bring up the idea of there's a black market.
And they didn't need that. Yeah, Lee didn't need. I mean, I understand they're trying to deal with Lee like struggling with almost dying and everything like that, which to me is almost unbelievable as well because Lee's been almost like in situations where he's almost died many times.
Yeah.
Why is this one all of a sudden affecting him? Which that's a whole other.
Because his dad wanted to order an assassination.
Maybe.
He's questioning life.
Yeah. And then the Cylons aren't necessarily the enemies he thought they were and all that good stuff. Yeah. So I don't know. It's weird because I think at the heart of it, there could be a good episode here. The dealing with a black market and is
for
it
sure there could be.
necessary? Is it not? Like, that's a really good thing.
That's a good question. Is a black market necessary?
Is a black market necessary? And in this, they determine it kind of is necessary to get supplies to people when they really want them. It's sad, though, that some of these black market supplies are antibiotics. It's one thing if they're cigarettes or dolls or toys and stuff like that.
But it's also children.
Yes, exactly. Now they're dealing... and the guy's, like, totally fine with it. He's like, yeah, some people have needs.
To have taste.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the deal with this prostitute girlfriend basically being like, Lee rescues your children and you blow him off and treat him like garbage, your child, and you blow him off and treat him like garbage?
What do you expect from a prostitute? I'm kidding.
Sorry for all you prostitute listeners.
Yeah. Sex worker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
That's what
Working
it's called.
girls, what they called him on the show.
Yeah.
the guy called her a whore.
No, did he?
Did he?
Yeah.
I think I
The-
missed that.
The
He 100% called her a whore. You something about your whore and you'll get her back when something.
oh,
He called
okay.
her a whore.
Okay, gotcha.
And I think they did use the word escort
Did they?
and I don't know if they used the word prostitute, but he said something about escort. Being an escort is more than just sex,
yeah, right.
implying that she was
Getting
prostitute.
information. Well, I was thinking that it was more like she gets information for me.
No, I think I side with Joe. She's good at manipulating people
I think
so
it's
that
both.
you
I
invest
think it's-
more into her.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She gets the information. Like she's
Yeah, I think it's-
almost a spy, if you will. Like in
Yeah,
some
but a
sense.
spy
No,
who
but
puts out.
I think she does it with everybody, just not Lee. Is what the implication was. She gets the person to be obsessed with her because she acts
She's
like
got
she
Lee
cares.
obsessed with her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's not probably the only one.
No, he's not. There's other men who are obsessed with her, right?
One of his name's Nick.
Am I?
I don't know.
I don't know. Not really.
She was okay.
I will say that garroting scene with Fisk, the way they showed his neck, that was pretty.
Fisk is dead.
Yeah, Fisk is dead, which is fitting because he was clearly a bad commander. So he's out.
I thought they had a little bit more for that character, though.
I thought they did
I
too.
was very surprised that they actually killed him,
They offed him pretty quickly too. Like,
unless he's
Yeah.
a Cylon, in which case he'll be back.
but it was like within the first 5 minutes, right? It was
It was
pretty
pretty quick.
quickly.
Yeah.
You know, he was on there. They were talking about the black market needing the clothes. He was unhappy about it. He goes back to his room, and all of a sudden, boom.
Here you go.
Kill with piano wire.
I do want that watch, though. It's pretty cool.
I know.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
And it stayed on his wrist the entire time? Cool, man.
That's pretty. That could come in handy, huh?
Yeah.
I guess I never realized how
Joe likes to be choked.
violent or how gory garroting could be.
Yeah, really? You never thought about
I
it?
never thought about that.
I never thought about how gory choking someone, basically decapitating someone with a piano wire could be.
Yeah, I mean,
But
At their jugular.
Think about Apollo. Like, he was fine. He just had the red mark.
have you ever
on his
held piano
neck.
wire?
Yeah, but he wasn't. They didn't kill him. They weren't going to kill him.
I
They were
know,
never
but
going to kill him.
I guess my thought would be like that is as far as it would go. I
Piano
never
wire's
thought it
sharp.
would cut into. I know.
Yeah.
I never realized that. That was a pretty like shocking scene to show him dead on the table like that.
Yeah.
Basically cut his head off, like they said. That was dark. Gosh, is there anything worth talking about in this?
I mean, I was really upset by the Lee story, the Lee and the
kind of dirtied up his character.
yeah.
I think they might try to do that on purpose, though.
I think they're showing his desperation and his how lost he feels.
They're trying to establish that, yeah.
Yeah.
I also.
What else happened in this episode?
Zarek came up and he's like, "Are you involved?" And it turns out Zarek wasn't involved. For once, Zarek is not the bad guy here.
Yeah.
But it looks like at the end Zarek takes control of the black
I think
market.
Zarek was positioning himself.
Yeah, to take control.
Yeah.
And he
I
does.
think he's all about putting himself in a position to. He wants to be in power somewhere.
Yeah. I think he wants to be in power everywhere, but he starts with somewhere.
Well, yeah. He just wants to be in power. And he'll take whatever he can get at this point to position himself to assume power elsewhere.
I think one of my issues too with this scene, with this episode, was the way Lee goes about killing. The guy's name was Phelan. Like, he just walks right into his bar. The guard is right there, just steals the gun and shoots him, and no one does anything. They're
Badass move.
I mean, it was, but like no one did anything. Like, they didn't kill.
What are they gonna do? He Walter White'd his ass.
I guess that's true. I am Heisenberg.
Yeah.
Say it. Say my name.
Okay, so who is the other Galactica? The girl that Lee was kind of involved with. Who?
D.
Okay, D. I want to talk about this for a second.
So do I.
How real was what D and him had going back and forth?
They were
Because
flirting.
It was a flirtatious.
I noticed it.
Yeah.
okay,
For sure.
flirting, and then D comes up and is like, "Where is this going?" What do you mean? Like that's such a leap.
This question could have been better stated as, is this going anywhere?
They could have.
Yeah, where is this going
they
implies
never-
they had a relationship. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's we've been kind of seeing each other. We've kissed.
Yes.
We've had some sort of intimate relationship, maybe not sexually, but like some sort of like physicality.
Yeah.
And it's been prolonged. And
Yeah.
now she's like, well, where is this going?
And then he says, "I don't know what you want me to say here."
Yeah,
and then
because
she just takes that as an outright rejection,
I mean,
which was designed to be a rejection. And
well, yeah,
I
but
think,
if you were just flirting with somebody and
which I never do, my wife, I love you very much.
but I mean, if you were just flirting with somebody and both of you obviously have the wrong idea of what's happening.
Yeah,
And they came up and said, well, where is this going? That's a red flag.
it is.
Lee is absolutely right to be like, well, I don't know what you're
I don't think Lee looked at it that way, though. I think Lee's just like pushing everyone away. Like he.
Yeah, but and then at the
Except
end of the
for-
episode, Dee's making out with Billy.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
She's already had a relationship.
Well,
with
yeah,
Billy.
Billy's her little boyfriend.
I know,
He's
but
he's her fallback.
I know, but she's automatically
She's keeping him on the leash.
going right back. This is like, it kind of pissed me off. I'm like,
Dee's a good-looking lady, though.
I know, but like just going back and forth, like
Yeah.
within the same episode,
Well, and then
in front of Lee.
Well, part of me
How
goes like,
dare you?
part of me would go, "You're asking me where this is going while you're in a relationship with Billy. That doesn't make any sense to me." Like,
Yeah.
if you weren't in a relationship, maybe we could have this conversation. But
I don't think Lee was looking at it that deeply, though.
but that's how I would look at it.
I agree
I don't
because we're under the assumption that this is a couple days later.
Yeah.
Right. Because time doesn't, as we've seen, time doesn't move very quickly in this show. We're not advancing.
We're only 6 months and a couple of weeks.
Right. So we're not advancing weeks or months between episodes. These are days.
These are days. Yeah.
So within the same episode, we're under the impression that it's within a handful of days.
Yeah.
And that's psychotic behavior from D.
Yeah.
If you ask me, it's crazy. Those are red flags. Lee dodged a bullet.
Lee dodged a bullet. Also, the ending of this episode was very odd. The final conversation with the old man, where Lee and Bill had the conversation, and I think the last line is, "You never told me about the girl," and that's it. That's the last line.
Yeah,
that's a very odd ending.
Well, they wanted to leave it off screen of what they discussed.
I know, but it's just everything about this episode felt off. It felt.
Yeah. That's a good way to say it.
It was a weird episode. By far the weakest of the series so far.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
Not even close, I think. Which is interesting because this is the first episode that doesn't deal with Cylons at all. Like, there's no mention of Cylons actually in this episode. None.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that I can think of.
And the story is affected because of it. There, we get a little bit of Baltar, but no Head 6, right?
No, there was mention of Cylons because the guy was talking about his dad, how he's a military man. Yeah. And the Cylons attacked, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. There was Head 6 in there because people suspected Baltar again.
But again, I feel like...
Oh, yeah, she asked for his resignation.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that did happen in this episode.
So we got to talk about that.
And he refused it. He said, "I never wanted anything more than this right now," which was one of the first time where I'm like, "Yeah, Baltar." Like, that was kind of a good line.
Well, because Rosalind is now, I feel like
she's healthy now. She wants him gone.
I know,
and she
but
she's her visions.
Now that I've sort of set this up because I had a feeling she wasn't going to die. So what I've been doing over the last few episodes where it's clear that they were trending her towards death.
Are we boring you?
Yes, absolutely.
But she has now had multi-episode history of making decisions that seem like she's making these decisions. She's making these crazy decisions that she won't have to deal with the repercussions.
Yeah.
And now that she's alive, I think people are Baltar is realizing, like,
nah, I don't care about you anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't respect you now. And
I like Rosalind, but I've seen these decisions. I didn't like some of the decisions that she made because she wasn't going to be the one around having to handle these ramifications.
Right. Well, like, even in the previous episode, there were some notes that I didn't give you. Like, Ronald D. Moore has said some things like Rosalind would have been horrified by a presidential edict to terminate a presidency, but her circumstances have forced her to become more comfortable with those things. And, but it also says that Moore said that Baltar saves Rosalind's life because he was unready to be president. He didn't want to be the president. And that's why he saved her. But then after reading that letter, all of a sudden he's like, now I want to be the president. Right. So, like,
she doesn't worship me. Wah.
Well, but part of it is, I mean, Rosalind has made some calls, like Joe was saying. Rosalind has made some decisions recently that were not designed for her to be around when those decisions followed through with.
Take that, Baltar.
Yeah.
And now she has to deal with Baltar, who at one point he's no one's ally. He's his own ally. But he would have worked with her, and I don't think now. I think that's done. He's going to work against her.
Best part is I like when you say "think" because you know.
I mean, a little bit, but actually, I kind of forgot about how some of this goes. It's been a while.
I just think this episode fell flat because there's no emotional involvement or attachment to the story whatsoever.
It's a standalone. Yeah.
More fully acknowledge that this was the weakest story that they've had.
Meaning, like, the storylines that they put in place, they're basically brand new to us. They don't attach to any other story that we've been involved with for almost 2 seasons now.
And why that sticks out so much for this episode is because they haven't done that to this point.
Yeah.
You know, you have Star Trek that does standalone episodes all the time, so it doesn't hurt as much. But because it's been one continuous story for a season and a half, that hurts.
Well, part of it was Moore said that they increased the episode order in the middle of season 2. So he said,
which is why they did season 2 and season 2.5.
He considered a drop in quality from other episodes to the second season's increased production schedule. Nonetheless, he insisted that the responsibility belonged with him rather than with the circumstances or with anyone else.
Because he's a stand-up guy.
Yeah. He said he was particularly disappointed with how the black market's illegality is established. At first, it is difficult to see what the distinction in Rosalind makes between legitimate and illicit commerce in a post-apocalyptic environment. The distinction may only become clear to the audience once the child trafficking is revealed, but Moore came to regard this as a cheap dodge of the dilemma, which is really true, right? Because why is the black market such a bad thing? Why can't these people trade stuff on their own? Oh, it's because they're all big bads who trade in children.
Well, no, because look at the guy's neck.
Well, yeah, but they were already dealing in like really dark stuff. But the whole point, I think what Moore was saying here is the point is that Rosalind wanted to have tight control of all the commerce, and there should able to be other stuff.
Man.
Yeah, there should be able to be people trading in the background and it not be viewed as evil. But the only way they could make it look is it's completely evil versus this is completely good, and that's. Again, there's some gray, and this doesn't do the gray. It just goes right into child sex trafficking, and it's like that was pretty extreme.
I mean, if you're gonna get somebody's attention immediately, that's
gonna do
it. It wasn't immediate. That was at the last 10 minutes of the episode.
It was, but then that's what at first you're
pushes
like,
it over.
But at first you're almost like, why is the black market so incredibly evil? We know they killed Fisk, we get that, but Fisk was kind of a jerk,
He's a scumbag.
and they showed that Fisk was taking advantage of things, right? So he deserved to die in light of the black market. So at first we're like, oh, the black market isn't bad. It isn't bad. It isn't bad. Oh, wait, children. Now it has to go. Like, it's just kind of, it was too extreme for me. It was too much of a, I don't know.
It felt forced because really, I think, I don't want to say good job, but they did a job of saying that the black market, the way it was currently handled, was not the best way to handle it.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is both of these episodes are about exploiting children.
Yeah, absolutely. And one they find justification for it, and one they don't.
Right.
Yep.
This is pretty funny. There's some reviews of the episode that are
2 hours again.
Hour 37.
Hour 37.
Calm down.
Stephen Flagg of Screw Attack, this is from back in the day, called it the series' worst episode, and he said, quote, bad? Yes. Boring? Yes. Terrible? No. I don't think it's terrible, but bad? Yes. Boring? Yes.
How does bad plus boring not equal terrible?
Terrible to me is no redeeming qualities. I think there is still, like, it gives us the black market. Like, there's other stuff happening in the fleet beyond what we know. Are those screen caps? From the episode? Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's a website called
is it
Frack That.
Shot by shot, essentially, of the episode?
A lot.
That's pretty cool. All right.
Frack that. Language.
I know. How dare they?
Hyphen that. Sorry.
Frack that. Okay.
Frack-that dot.
Oh, a DVD screen cap. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's really cool.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. All right. So should we move on to ratings then?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have done that 20 minutes ago.
I mean, yeah. Okay. So let me pull up the rating sheet here.
But by protocol, we have to review the second episode.
By protocol, we don't have a choice. So my question would be, Rob said, I'd rather watch Move Along Home than this. Would you say, so this is easily, this will be the worst episode you see of this show, without a doubt.
That's good news. Silver lining.
So, is the worst episode of Battlestar Galactica better than the worst episode of DS9 or no?
Yes.
Yeah, because what was that episode that Second Sight was just god awful.
No, it wasn't. It was pretty good.
It's not a cult.
I like Second Sight.
I
would say yes. This is by far worse than the worst episode. And I think the reason you said was a big part of it. There's some brevity, at least, in the DS9 episodes, like a Move Along Home. It's a bad episode, but it's kind of funny. Right?
Okay, but
there's no funny in this episode.
My equivalent would be is this episode better than the worst episode during the Dominion War?
Oh, no.
This is really 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And the Dominion War was essentially 4 seasons.
Yeah. This is bad. This was a bad episode. This was bad. I got to think about what I'm going to give it. But let's start with Epiphanies. Epiphanies, out of 10, I can already guess what Rob's going to give it.
I already know. I think I know what Rob's going to give it.
What, guys? What?
I'm not going to tell
tell
you
me.
because
I'm going to write down my guess.
Okay.
All right, we wrote down our guesses. Okay, Rob, what do you give it?
I give it a 4.5.
Oh, snap! I predicted 4.5 for
He
you.
did. I said 5.5.
All right, Rob gives it a 4.5. Wow. That's pretty bad. I guess it's not pretty bad, but it's not good.
That's pretty bad.
It's not great.
No, it's not great. I thought our
Nick,
discussion was
4.5.
I think
that's pretty good.
I think there was great discussion, but
Yeah.
it doesn't make up for the episode.
good. I think it helps.
Well, okay, then it was a 2 before.
What?
I give this a 6.
Oh, you guys are haters.
Are you really going to go higher than a 6?
6.5. 6.5.
Got
6.5.
him.
You got me, because there's some good stuff in here. I do like the flashbacks. I like the moral dilemma with the baby. I do like that stuff.
I'm gonna give it. I'll give it a 7.
Okay. All right. Joe's really liking Battlestar Galactica.
Really
I really like this.
I haven't reviewed the next episode. Just
But we're all gonna be there. Okay, Black Market. This gets really tricky because I don't think it's so bad that it's a 1 out of 10 to me.
no, it's not a 1. It's certainly not a 4.5 though.
No, it's not.
I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
I was gonna go 3.
3.
Yeah.
3.5. So just to put this into perspective, no episode of season 2 got under a 7.1 rating on IMDb, and Black Market was a 6.4. In fact, I think no episode in season 1 got below a 7.5. So this is by far the lowest rated episode of this.
I mean, for good reason.
Yeah. And we get some good ones coming up. Really good ones coming up. So I think I decided that, though I talked about how we were going to watch Razor after a certain point. The way it lines up now is the season finale is a 2-parter. And if we just go through our normal schedule, we will go 2 parts at a time. Like, we will end with the 2-parter. So I think we're just going to go through with that and then watch Razor after the end of the second season. Okay. So
I think that,
even though it would chronologically be back in time.
but I think that will give us good context because we can talk about it in the context of what happens before and after.
Exactly.
So we won't be speculating or wonder what's going to happen.
You'll have a better idea.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And so it lines up perfectly because next week we have Scar and Sacrifice. The week after that, The Captain's Hand and Downloaded, and then Lay Down Your Burdens, part 1 and 2. So there we go. Gentlemen, follow us on Instagram at keeping_up_Cardassians.
I think we hurt Rob's feelings today.
I stopped paying attention.
I know.
Why?
I don't know how.
Why?
No, not at all.
Lies. That's Cap.
At Cardassians Pod on Twitter as well.
We got that YouTube
Got the YouTube. We're put out YouTube content every Saturday. So
and Monday
And Monday.
Yeah, and Monday.
and a random one last Friday.
And a random one. So pay attention, folks.
Also, Patreon, y'all.
$2, $5, $10 tier.
Working on something. Starting to.
Yep.
I am.
Is it time to have a discussion on possibly revamping Patreon, the tiers?
I mean, I feel like that's a show discussion and not made for the outro, but yeah.
Show meeting.
Yep.
All right.
We haven't had a show meeting on air in a
No,
while.
we haven't. But anyways, thanks for keeping up with us, folks. This was Nick.
This was Rob.
This is Joe.
Peace out. We love y'all. Bye.
Sleep deprivation. Headaches? Is your hair thinning? Do you ever wonder to yourself, what happened? Then you might be suffering from parenting. Parenting affects 10 out of 10 mothers and fathers around the world and can lead to extreme debt and loss of self-identity. You may need a fucking break. A fucking break lets you step away from it all. Results of a fucking break may vary. Side effects include a sigh of relief, decrease in blood pressure, and hanging with the boys. Do not take a fucking break if there's no one watching your kids, and if you've taken one in the last 24 hours. Talk to your spouse before you take a fucking break. Parenting is not easy. Take a fucking break.